Kiran, what's up, man? Good to see you.
Same here. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. So today we're going to be talking about doers versus dreamers, right? This conversation kind of started because I was talking about I have friends in my life, and you may be one of these people, so don't take offense if you're one of these individuals. I have friends that have ideas, so many ideas. Every time I talk to them, they've got a brilliant idea about something, right? And then years go by, and they've never executed on a single idea that they ever shared with me. It stays there. That's all it is. And then I've got friends like you who are like, let's just get it done, right? The idea comes, okay, let's start. And we'll start navigating as we go, but we'll just start. Dreamers versus doers. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Each one of us has a doer and a dreamer in us.
Right.
And we are able to do some things with no inhibitions while we just keep dreaming about other things.
Right. Well, and I think let me make an important distinction here. Dreamers, there's two types that I'm talking about here. One type is the dreamer, and I felt like this a couple times where the thought of doing something gave me enough of a dopamine hit that it felt like I actually did it, but I did it. Working out, for example, like I'm thinking I gotta go work out, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go work out, and then that felt really good, and then I never went and worked out.
Yeah.
I never got the benefit of actually doing it because the thought of it was just like good enough for me. But you can't do that in business. You can't do that if you want to be successful with your goal and taking your hobby and your dream and your passion and actually living a life of purpose doing that thing, right? And so, but you do have to be a dreamer in the sense of like maybe more philosophical, like you're envisioning things that maybe aren't possible for you yet, or maybe things that don't even exist, or especially as an artist, you're very much a dreamer. And that's a dreamer with a capital D. We're talking about the difference between dreamers with the lowercase d who never do anything versus the doers.
Let me share my personal experience working at Intel, right? When me and my wife, we both were employed at Intel, we had a comfortable life. But then there was a goal set wherein my wife clearly said, okay, we want to be out of the job, and then we want to have the same level of passive income that we are making being at Intel.
Right.
So that was a goal that was set, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that is the first step in transitioning from being like a dreamer to a doer, wherein first you have to have a goal set, and then the goal has to be strong enough, and then it has to be like achievable. Like you need to have good gut feel that, okay, it's going to be achievable in a few years, and then you need to give yourself time to do that.
Right.
So unless those things happen, wherein you really think that is a totally achievable goal, you think that, okay, it's going to be achieved in such a finite time.
Right.
There is no way that you can transform yourself from dreamer to a doer, because a lot of people have this insane ideas. I have friends also who talk about, oh, I want to start this restaurant. Whenever they go to a restaurant, they talk about starting a restaurant. Right? They have the idea,
right,
but they don't pull the trigger because I think that goal that they talk about doesn't have a finite timeline. They think that they can do it whenever, sometime in the future.
Yeah.
So if they would say that, okay, I want to start a restaurant in the next 2 years or in the next 5 years, then they exactly know if it's going to be done or not.
Right, right.
So something to help the people who are transitioning from dreamers to doers is you have to have the goal and the timeline. That is like so important. And the last part of it is you have to be confident that you can pull it off. If you don't feel confident, then you need to work on things to get there.
Right. No, that's 100% true. And I love what you said about setting a goal. And that could be written down. I'm a big believer in writing down goals. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just like one little sentence for my goal. I don't know, what do you think? Is writing your goal down important? Is like
100%.
Yeah?
People do write goals, and then now I've seen this a dream board or a picture. One of my tenants here in our office, I went into her office, her entire wall had the pictures of Paris and Australia and all that. And then as soon as I saw it, I didn't even need to ask her any question. I exactly knew where she's going with this.
So that's another part of it. Not only is it writing it down for yourself, but sharing that with other people.
Yes.
Is huge, right?
It's huge.
So what are some of the benefits that you find from taking the goal inside your mind and sharing it outwardly with those around you? What are some tangible benefits that somebody can see from that?
Because people around you that you are interacting with, there is a good chance they want to see you successful,
100%.
right?
They should, and if they don't, then you need to find a new group of friends and people to be around.
Of course, yeah. So if you are among the people who want to see you successful, then it is very imperative that you are going to share your goals with that group so that they can help you achieve your goal.
Goes back to what you said a couple episodes ago about not being a secret agent, right? If no one knows what your goal, your passion is, no one's going to offer you the help that you need.
Yeah.
And I had a business coach, Mike Bastian, who taught me that years ago. And he said, Shane, if you never ask for help, no one's ever going to offer it because they don't know that you need it.
You need help, yeah.
Especially what I've learned, the more outwardly successful you appear to be, whether you are or not, the appearance, what we put online, we always put our highlight reel. Obviously, everybody's got things that they're going through in the back end. But as your business grows and you become more successful, whatever that definition means to you, people can assume that you don't need the help that maybe you once did. And what I've learned is I still need as much help as I did in the beginning. Maybe the help is different now, right? So maybe the help isn't, hey, could you help me, for example, get my first couple of clients because I'm trying to learn to be a photographer. I've got that down. That's not my issue now. The issue now might be, hey, can you connect me with a marketing agency that's looking to have somebody like me refer it to their clients, right? Which is a very different help, but it's something that I didn't need help with in the beginning because I wasn't even there. But not being that secret agent is so important and valuable.
So much. And also, we all need to, it's easier to preach than practice, but we all need to stop being fearful of failure. The only way you can learn things well is when you keep failing, and you can't be fearful that, okay, if I start this business, what if I fail? What's going to happen? And then it's going to just throw you into that pessimistic gear automatically.
True. Yeah.
So then you have to make sure that you are not fearful of that. Only then you can have goals that you are really aspiring to go for.
Well, and if you're one of those individuals that feels overwhelmed by the idea of starting something because of that fear of failure, I would say break it up into smaller pieces. And that goes back to your other point where you said, look at things that you can actually accomplish, right? You might have this big goal in this dream. Let's take your, let's say starting a real estate brokerage, for example, right, in your case. So you got this goal of starting a real estate brokerage, and that requires you to have admin staff, and you've convinced other agents who are also wanting to be entrepreneurs to be a part of your team, right? Which is a very solo thing, but you're saying, hey, do it together with us, and we'll do more together. And that's very difficult. And maybe you're scared of that whole process, so your first step is, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to convince one person to be a partner with me, right? And you start doing transactions with one person. Or maybe you say, hey, I'm going to work on the sales and I'm looking for somebody who wants to do buyer side stuff. And I'm going to start referring to you and we'll work together that way. Or developing a relationship with somebody who's a transaction coordinator who can start taking some of that stuff off your plate. So you're taking bite-sized chunks out of your bigger goal and you're accomplishing those. And then I'm a big believer in celebrating your little successes. So once you accomplish, and I'm not talking about like a day later, a week later, the moment you accomplish something that you're proud of, that was on your list of to-dos, even if it's like an internal high five, you're like, yes, I did that, right? I think celebrating that is so important because that gives you that little dopamine hit that says, okay, that worked out well. Let's see what else can work out well. And then you take the next little step.
Yeah, and also, a lot of times when you're trying to go after a goal, it's not like a switch of a thing between what the other stuff you do versus this goal, right? You have to completely become a positive person overall. Especially I'm talking about starting a business and you want to be disciplined with your goal and all that. I would say as a successful business person, you have to be disciplined at everything else, like being organized, let's say.
Okay.
Right? Being organized and then having a ritualistic way of how you do things. Okay, you wake up in the morning, every time, the first hour, you have to figure out your goals for the day, go after them. Things like that. I'm just throwing some examples.
Yeah.
But if somebody has inertia to go into the right path, I think the first, very first infant step is to be positive,
That's huge.
and
No, I
then
think you're right.
do everything with a positive mindset. That's unrelated to the business, and only then you'll get into the practice of becoming positive about the goal at hand.
Dude, it might sound like woo-woo stuff, but I'm telling you, the more positive attitude, and I'm talking about fake positive, right? I mean, we know people who are fake positive, and you can sense it a mile away, and it kind of feels icky. Actually, it doesn't feel good. But people who are truly, genuinely passionate and excited and positive about something in their life, it's so intriguing, man. I will listen to somebody who is passionate. I don't care if you're passionate about plumbing. If that's your thing, I might listen to you for a YouTube video for like 20, 30 minutes. I'm like, I have no interest in plumbing or anything, but this
No.
person was so passionate about it, they sucked
listen
me
to
into
it.
it, right?
Yes, yes.
And I learned something. And I find that works well, even in dating life, right? Is men, a lot of friends, I have a lot of friends who are single, and it seems that the ones who are really, really super passionate about something tend to do really well, at least initially, with finding women who are interested in hearing what they have to talk about, listen, because they're like, I just love that you're passionate about something, right? And that hits on your point of infusing that positivity in everything that you're doing. So, huge believer in that. Yeah, definitely. All right, so dreamers versus doers. Now, when it comes to being a dreamer only with a lowercase d, if this is you, what I would suggest, if you don't want to do that, if you want to actually put something into place, I know a lot of friends who have fear of missing out. And one of the reasons they jump from idea to idea to idea is they're kind of high on that idea, right? They're addicted to that feeling of that newness. But if they committed to one specific thing, they have to say no to a lot of the other stuff.
Yeah.
And when you do that, sometimes that fear of missing out can kick in. And when I decided to become a photographer, there was a lot of things that I was saying no to. And that's where that passion and that positivity about what I chose to do became so important, because it had to be strong enough for me to say, it's okay for me to say no to other things that are also good, because this is going to be great.
Yeah, that's a terrific point. I think there is lot of things that goes into the human mind. It's complicated by itself, but the best way to do it is to get to your goal and then get into action.
Okay, so let's say that somebody is making that first leap. What are some concrete things? We talked about writing the goal down.
100%.
Okay, we talked about having a positive mindset, right?
Yeah.
So let's say that you've done that. Not being a secret agent, meaning that you're going to go out there and you're going to start telling people, hey, this is my goal, this is what I want to accomplish. Let's start with like somebody who wants to start a business. We'll just start with a really generic idea, and you haven't opened it up, you haven't done anything yet. Some small things that you could do is go get the domain for your business.
Yeah.
That's you putting
That's an
money
exciting-
down,
yes,
right? And it's
that's an
super
exciting
simple.
thing, yeah.
Get the domain. Go to Google and get the Gmail. Don't get it, like for example, shanebaker@gmail.com. No. Shane@shanebakerstudios.com. Go get an email like that. Those are little tiny concrete steps that you can do that can take you out of that dreamer with a lowercase d and start saying, okay, now I'm actually doing something.
Yeah.
Right? What are some other things that they can do to kind of push them along that path?
They have to try to connect with people who are doing what they aspire to become. Join the Facebook groups, then going into LinkedIn and see how other people are doing, checking out the competitors' websites, and then checking out the reviews of the competitors' websites to see what are the challenges that they might be facing in servicing the customers.
Right.
So all of that is going to help you craft your mindset on how you are going to move forward.
Okay, so now I'm going to share, if you're a photographer, model, makeup artist, stylist, the way that we can kind of explore that world at no cost to us is you go to local meetups. Right? We did a ton of these. In fact, I even started a group back when I first started photography, and it was just an opportunity to bring photographers together. There was no money exchanged, and you were just shooting with other people who, many of them were brand new, first time, many of them have been doing it for a long time, it's just always been a hobby. Is there any equivalent for somebody who wants to be in the mortgage industry or a real estate agent or something like that?
Yeah, there are many masterminds. We call them masterminds in real estate and mortgage industry, wherein you can plug in and participate in these masterminds. Some of them are happening at the local real estate brokerage level. Some of them are like just Facebook groups.
Yeah, Kiran, so one of the things that I found so challenging as an artist is that in the art world, according to what I've been able to find, we have no equivalent to the masterminds that I was exposed and experienced when I was in the real estate world with Keller Williams. It was incredible. And one of the reasons that I think that happens is because as artists, we often don't use money as a measurement of success, which is a good thing. It's true to do that. You can be an amazing artist and not make a single penny off of it. However, my approach has been like, I'm not just interested in hanging out with artists. I want to hang out with business owning artists, right? Artists who are looking at it as a business and growing from it. And when you do that, you have to look at the numbers. You have to say, okay, what field am I really playing in? You know what I mean? Am I a $50,000 artist, $100,000 artist, $500,000, $1 million artist? Where do I fall on this spectrum? And who are my peers that I can learn and kind of rub shoulders with? And in photography, there's really no equivalent to that. And I really wish that there was. But I don't know, maybe if you're interested in putting together something like that or joining something like that, maybe I'll put something like that together. So shoot me an email, shane@shanebakerstudios.com. We'll talk about it.
That's a terrific opportunity. If Shane is going to start a mastermind for the artists, I would just attempt to become an artist just to join the mastermind.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you, man. All right, brother. Have a good one.
Thank you.